Om Yo Brahmana Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kalpibhyo Vanshurishibhyo Mahatyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavarahitava Prajnanagana Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi Vedantat Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sangapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohantvanta Divakaraya Bhagavatpada Vidham Viprate Tasmai Bhashikrite Namostu Sapatam Purnaya Purnatmane. We will recite the second and the third verse together. Sangasat Suvidhiyatam Bhagavato Bhaktirdridhatiyatam Shantyadif Parichiyatam Dridataram Karmashu Santyajyatam Sadvidvan Pasripyatam Pratidinam Tatpaduka Sevyatam Brahmaikaksharamardhyatam Shrutishiro Vakyam Samakaranyata Vakyarthascha Vicharyatam Shrutishira Pakshasamashriyatam Dustarkat Suviramyatam Shrutimatasterko Nusandhiyatam Brahmasmiti Vibhavyatam Haraha Garvah Parityajyatam Teheham Atiruchyatam Udajanihi Vada Parityajyatam Vada Parityajyatam. Now the student has sought, he is seeking the knowledge of Brahman, Ekaksharam Brahma, and for which then the teacher explains the statements of Upanishad. It is through the Upanishad that Brahman is revealed, and therefore he listens, understands the statements of Upanishad. If he has not arrived at a conclusive understanding that this is what is meant by the Upanishad, it is not possible for him to even verify whatever has been said is right or wrong. Is it coherent or not? Is it consistent or not? And therefore, just listening is not sufficient, but through listening, he should arrive at a conclusive understanding. Tatparya Nirnaya should take place, or Tatparya Nishchaya should take place. That this is what is meant by the Upanishad. This is what is finally conveyed. And only when one has that conclusive understanding, if the path now will become visible as what is the next step. Therefore, Shrutishiraha Vakyam Samakaranyakam. It is Samakaranyakam. No, it is not just Akaranyatam. It is not just Akaranyatam, but it is Samakaranyakam. Samyak Prakarena. Properly. So now, in order to understand anything that is said, one needs to know the language. When the language is known now, how do the words in the sentence interact with each other, relate to each other, and then deliver the meaning of the sentence? The words have their own meaning, but the sentence has its new meaning. I will not say a different one, but will have something more than just the words can convey. Sorry. So now we have these three words in a sentence. Ramaha vanam gacchati. Ramaha vanam gacchati. Ram goes to forest. Now, one can understand, let us assume we understand. One knows the meaning of Ram the person. You also understand forest. You also understand the verb goes. But when these three words come together to become a sentence, though you knew Ram, though you knew what is forest, though you know what is the meaning of word goes, that Kriyapada, the verb, but you did not know till this point that Rama goes to forest. You knew Rama, you knew forest, but you did not know Rama goes to forest. So the sentence has delivered its a new meaning. Something, meaning in the sense, knowledge. Something which was not known to you before. You knew Rama, you knew forest, but you did not know that Rama goes to forest. And therefore, when the sentence is spoken, Ramahavanam Gacchati, it now illumines you with this knowledge. Rama goes to forest. Something which was not known to you before now becomes known, and so therefore it is knowledge. Okay, something which is already known to you before, and then the same thing is being spoken, then it becomes a reminder. It can generate the memory. Samskara Vashat, it will generate the memory. Just remembering is not knowledge. Remembering will happen about the thing which is already known. But knowledge is a different cognition than just memory. Memory has certain role in it. Like before you could understand Rama goes to forest, the sentence, the memory, the samskar of what is Rama, what is forest, what is goes, is already there. But now Rama's going to forest becomes known to you, which was not known before. And therefore, sentence has its own knowledge, meaning to deliver. It is something, so it can be called as knowledge only if it was not known before and becomes known now. Okay, therefore knowledge, it is knowledge. Vakyarthashcha vicharyatam. So which vakyas, which sentences and statements are you talking about? The statements of Shruti Shira. You understand what is the meaning of Shruti, you understand what is the meaning of word Shira. Okay, now this is a Bahuvrihi Samas. How does that compound work? Let us say we use the word Neelakantha. Neelakantha. Kantha means the throat. Neela means the blue. Now, blue and the throat. Neela Kantha. But this word does not just mean the blue throat. It means the one who has the blue throat. So it goes well to tell you about Shiva, Bhagavan Shankar. Okay, because there goes that story that when he drank the poison which rose from the churning of the Milky Ocean, the poison was so ulpanam, it was so powerful that it could have destroyed the world. And in order to protect the world from getting burnt by that poison, Bhagavan Shiva drank that poison. But now it is said that he drank the poison, but then he did not allow the poison to go down below into the heart, nor he did allow the poison to go and pollute even the head. So he kept it right there in the Kantakupa, in that in the cavity of the throat. And that's why over there Karpura Dhavala Shiva becomes, the throat becomes blackish blue. Becomes blackish blue. And therefore he is Neelakanta. So now that word Neelakanta goes like that, Shruti Shiraha. Shruti means Veda. Then Shira means the head. The principal part of the body, the most important part of the body is considered to be this head. Okay. Why head? Because all the cognitive functions, etc., are there in the brain, as well as there is a concentration of all jnanendriyas in the face over there. And therefore, it is a very important part of the body. Now, this body, this head, important. Like that in the Veda, what is the most important part of the Veda? Upanishad. And therefore, the Upanishad is called as the head of the Vedas. The head, principal part, the main one. Now, Upanishad is Shruti Shiraha. What is the Upanishad? It is sentences, statements. And therefore, now what is given to us is to understand conclusively what is the actual meaning of those statements. This is what Shruti wants to say. Then we will have the power even to verify whether what has been said Is it right or wrong? Is it consistent or not? Is it really, is this what is being said, or is something else is meant over here? Then we will have the, the liberty and what do they call, the ability to verify those statements. And therefore now, what is the first thing that he does is, having served the teacher and has, oh, oh even today, okay, he requests the teacher to tell what is this Ekakshara Brahma. What is this Ekakshara Brahma? And the teacher now gives the statements of, explains the Upanishad. The Upanishad. He explains. Thus now we have reached a conclusive understanding that this is what is meant by the Upanishad. Then begins the next verse. What is it? Vakyarthashcha vicharyatam. Now contemplate on the meaning of those statements. Now contemplation is in form of what? It is in the form of verification. It is in the form of verification. Because the Shruti, the way the Upanishad over here has said Atma is Brahman, that this self whom you refer to as this I, and this I is found as what? As a limited entity, as a small, insignificant entity. Now look at that. Everybody is striving to become significant in some way or the other. Even if the person may not be able to become significant to the whole world, he tries to become significant at least to his wife. That at least she should give me importance. So basically the person has found that he is insignificant. He is so small that he is so limited, so small that he can easily get neglected. And so whether gets neglected or not neglected is not a question. That my being limited, so small, is the botheration. Who neglects me and why he neglects me is not the issue. Basically, the person has found himself as to be so limited as an entity, parichinna, and this parichinnata is bothering. This is bothering the person. So what has he found? That I am a jiva. And then by that virtue that I am a jiva, I am a jiva, what is meant is, I am limited. And therefore by that virtue, I am also not satisfied, fulfilled, kind of little sad. And so I want to overcome this misery. So I am an experiencer and I am a doer. Because I want to overcome this, I will do something, right and wrong, good and bad. I will do good or bad. Okay. Actually, can go as and. I will do. So I have found that I am small, I am karta, I am bhokta. And not only that this thing remains with me till this body perishes, but I continue to exist in another form, again as a small little entity. again as a small little entity. Thus, the one who is subject to transmigration, janma punarjanma, birth and death, rolling from one life into another life, for as what? As an entity seeking fulfillment, as an entity who wants this sense of completeness. Even if somebody was to come and tell you, God is complete. Hey, even if God is complete, how does it matter me? God can be complete, but I am incomplete. What about that? I am unfulfilled. What about it? God can be complete. God can be full. God can be, that is all okay with God. And therefore somebody says, since you are incomplete and there is a God who is complete, associate yourself with that which is more powerful. Hey, it can give me a little sense of security, but it will not eradicate my insecurity completely. Why? Because what if I fall out of his good humor? What if I fall out of his good books? Out of his favor? And therefore, the punishment will be even severe because he is all powerful. And therefore, that insecurity still remains. The that what you want to get rid of completely, totally, absolutely, still continues. So this scheme of the scheme is what? That somebody else is complete and very powerful. Associate yourself with him does not work over here. And therefore, the Upanishad says that and shows that this Atma is Brahman. Now the statement is said, spoken. You have understood this statement. But now the statement, even when spoken and understood, you have doubts. How can I be Brahman? Because the meaning of I for you is not Brahman. What is the meaning of I? Jivaha, a limited entity. A limited entity is what is the meaning of word I for you. Because you have certain faith in those words as pramanam, because you have certain faith in I, because you have certain faith in those words as pramanam, now you are ready to verify its meaning. Now take this as an example. Okay, what happens is, let us go back to our classic example of snake and the rope. Now, since you have seen the snake and you are petrified, then you have somebody whom you trust, maybe your father or a brother or someone, your husband or wife, whom you trust. And this person comes and says, no, it is not a snake, it is a rope. Now, this person has said that it is a rope. Because you have certain faith that he is, he can, he is what? My well-wisher. And he does not want me to get bitten by a snake. So you have that faith in him. And so his vakyam, now you give it certain importance, certain weight. On the other hand, your experience says that it is a snake. Now you have two things at the same time being two knowledges about the same object. It is a snake, it is a rope. Had you not to have faith at all in this person, you would have had just ignored what he has said. This idiot, he says that it is a rope. Let me run away. Because he's an idiot. But you have faith, and because of that faith, though your experience says it is a snake, now you give certain importance, weight to that second knowledge which has come. And therefore you say now, maybe it is a rope, maybe it is a snake. And wherever there is this doubt, that doubt means, yesterday also we saw what is the meaning of a doubt. Koti dvayam jnanam. Koti dvaya jnanam is called as doubt. Knowledge of two categories. Knowledge should be just one category, ekantikam. This is a snake. That's it, ekantikam. This is a rope, ekantikam. But over here, instead of that, about the same object, there is a koti dvaya. Maybe it is a snake, maybe it is not. So whenever you have said maybe, the other statement comes along with it. So now maybe it is a snake, maybe it is not. Now that means there are two categories about the same knowledge, about the same object. Knowledge of the same object is in two categories, and therefore koti dvaya jnanam is over here. Why did this doubt also come into existence? Because you have certain faith. Exactly, this is what we are saying. Now, because you have faith, doubt is possible. Whereas rest of the places, what are they saying? That if you have faith, you cannot have doubt. All the theologies in the world are screaming and screeching for centuries together that you have doubt, which means you don't have faith. And I am saying the very fact that you have doubt is because you have faith. You have doubt because you have faith. Had you not to have any faith in that person's statement, you would not even have this doubt. Maybe it is not a snake. That doubt means that you have faith, because the other statement is very much against your experience. Your experience is it is a snake. And he says it is not a snake. Now when he says it is not a snake, it is just opposite of what your experience is. And therefore, to keep on saying that you have doubt is there because you don't have faith is not right. The faith has done its job. It was able to give an equal amount of weight to another piece of knowledge against your experience. The faith has already done its job. No, faith, final faith is what we need. Sir, how long are you going to cry about it? It has done its job. At least in the process of knowledge, now it's enough. And it is justified even to have faith in a pramana. No, even faith in pramana is what we are talking. Faith in God, faith in whatever, we are not talking about that. Have faith in Guru. This is okay. We are saying, where should your faith be, belief be seated? In pramana. That it is a pramana enough. And even for this faith to be there, confidence to be there that it is a pramana, there is a reason. What would make anything as a pramana? Why would you say that this chakshurindriya, that this visual faculty is the means for the knowledge of colors and forms? Knowledge of colors and forms is taking place, and it is taking place through the visual faculty, the eyes, etc. Over here, why are you saying that these eyes are the means of seeing colors and form? Why is the structure indriya the means? That is okay. And what more? There has to be something. Discover what makes anything, any system, any equipment to become pramanam. Can anything be called as pramanam? The means of knowledge. So there are two things. There are two conditions. Whenever any system is able to fulfill these two conditions, then that system, that equipment becomes an equipment of knowledge, of generating knowledge. Remember, first of all, it should be able to show you something which was unknown, and it will remain unknown if this equipment does not work. In what? In that equipment being not available, that knowledge also will not take place. Anadhigata. So something is unknown, colors and forms will remain unknown if the eyes don't function. So first condition is fulfilled in the eyes, because you cannot know colors and forms through smelling, sniffing, licking, touching, hearing. These none of these faculties will ever be able to tell you, give you the knowledge of colors and forms. And therefore, first condition, that eyes is eyes in the sense, the chakshurindriya is one such system through which colors and forms become known. No other faculty, we do not have any other means which will be able to show colors and forms. Then, the second thing, that whatever knowledge has been generated by that faculty should not get falsified or refuted. Okay? If your eyes are able to show you that it is a red rose, then it being a red rose should not get refuted by any other means. Or if it gets refuted, then what happens? That means that though this is an equipment to generate knowledge, yet it is a defective instrument. And by that virtue, since it is defective, it will generate distorted knowledge, erroneous knowledge. Erroneous knowledge is not knowledge. It will generate an error. It is not knowledge. Therefore, for any means to be the pramanam, to be the means of knowledge, these two conditions should be there. That it should generate knowledge, which is anadhigatam. Anadhigatam, unknown, and will remain unknown without its functioning. So anadhigatam, and then abadhitam, that it will remain abadhitam, which means not falsified, negated, or refuted. Then it is called as pramana. Okay? We are saying this Veda is a pramana. For what? In order to know Brahman. Will you know Brahman without it? No. Okay, so the first condition is fulfilled. Oh no, we will know Brahman some other way. How? How? And why will you even want to know Brahman? There is whatever Brahman is, the word was heard by you from where? From the Upanishad only. And the God, etc., what people want to prove through inference, that God which they want to prove through inference without the Shruti, that inferential God can be refuted by another inference. That means it gets what? Falsified. Therefore, it gets falsified. So not a pramana. Here now, so Upanishad reveals Brahman, and there is no means which can prove it to be wrong. And therefore, Upanishad remains as a pramanam. So you having faith in the Upanishad as pramanam is justified. So this faith is also not, okay, let me have faith. Oh, it is not, let me have faith. Just as you have faith in the eyes, that it is a pramanam. Whenever it comes to what? Knowing colors and forms, where will you turn? You will not turn your nose up and say, let me sniff and find out colors and forms. You will immediately turn to the eyes for colors and forms, for the knowledge of colors and forms. Exactly when it comes to exactly in the same way, when now it is the subject matter that you want to know, Brahman, where to turn? To Upanishad. That's it. This is then that faith. This is what is surrendering to that pramana. Because you are relying on the eyes alone for what? For the knowledge of colors and forms. That much. This is the role of faith. What else do you want faith to do over here? Oh no, faith means that, God is going to look after me and God is going to take care of my husband and my wife and my children and all that. Oh, that's all okay. These are various types of consolations. They will work. That is also fine. If it works with you, it is fine. But now, if you want to create a theology out of it and also impose it on others, then we will say namaskar. Stay at bay. Another thing is, we are talking, our whole concentration is on moksha, purushartha. We are not worried presently that how I want faith so that I am able to conduct my transactions with the family and the world quite smoothly and without friction, etc. That's not what we are dealing with. If you are a mature person whose mind is quite settled, he has resolved his own inner conflicts, then that person will also be able to work in the world without creating conflicts, or even if the conflicts arise, he will be easily able to sail over it. Uh, this is there. So Shraddha, and another thing is that I'm not denying the role of faith in our transactional world. I have said this even before, I'm saying this again. Because you have faith that this roof will not collapse on your head, you are sitting over here, you know, without any anxiety and listening. That faith allows you to have this transaction conducted. Even if there was little bit of doubt, even if not the faith, just a small lizard going up, how you won't be able to sit quietly over there. But there is nothing going to fall on my head for this next 1 hour. You are easily able to sit. This faith allows you transaction for to have that transaction, any transaction. Now, some faith like this, and therefore faith has its role in our transactions with the world. It has a role, but we are saying now that this is not what we want as a faith over here. Our faith is as is Upanishad a pramanam or not. And it should, for even for that faith also to be there has to be a reason. That eyes are the pramanam, are the eyes is the equipment for not to know the colors and forms. For this faith also, it fulfills the conditions, and therefore if we have that faith. Now that faith is also not based just like that. It is not arbitrary. It is not arbitrary. It is coherent. So Vakyam is being spoken, and that Vakyam is, that statement is that this Atma is Brahman. It goes against your experience. Atma, I am a small little entity, a Jiva, who hops from one body to another body in search of fulfillment. Because now, till the last moment, I have yet not found that I am complete, I am fulfilled. I hop into another body. And the going into another body is dependent not on your choice, but it depends on karma. It depends on karma. Hey, if your fate, if your karma is such that you are going to be born as a caterpillar, you will go into a caterpillar body, and again as a caterpillar nibbling on the leaves, you will be searching for fulfillment. But to discover this fulfillment, completeness is possible only in the human form. And therefore, it is so important that we use this human life, which we are endowed with presently, that our karma has brought us to this with what? With caution, with awareness, without wasting even a moment, because every moment gone, every day gone is the time lost. Next life, you do not know whether you will be born as a human being again or not. You could be born as anything, a butterfly, a caterpillar, a cat, or a monkey, or a chicken, because all those chickens that you have eaten in this life already have said that you have given us so much of pain. Now you also should suffer that pain. And so many chickens have cursed. So just imagine how many times you have the chances of you becoming chicken are there. Uh, and therefore, this time that we have as a human, as a human being, let us use it well, not for searching for pleasures of flesh and pleasures of the sense appeasement and ego appeasement, because that can happen even in other forms too. Look for, search for that which is Purnam, which will happen only now, nowhere else. That's why human life is so significant, so important. It does not come this easily. And so those who having born as a human beings waste it. The Shruti herself, Veda, Kenopanishad says, Mahati Vinashti. Indeed, this is a great loss. He who dies without knowing the supreme truth, the Shruti says what? Mahati Vinashti. Well, now there are this, so we have this doubt as how you have come to the Upanishad's conclusion. Now, this fellow has heard from the teacher. At least those 10 Upanishads he has properly understood. And he says that the Upanishads unanimously, without any doubt, are saying that Atma is Brahman. So, knowing Brahman, one becomes free, and that Brahman is this Atma. So now he has a problem, and that problem is that it is exactly against my experience, but it is accepted because what? Because this Shruti is Pramana. He accepts, and therefore now about the same object. What is the object over here? Atma, I. Two different knowledges. My experience says that I am a small little entity, whereas the Upanishad says I am. What is the meaning of this I? Is that what is infinite, not conditioned by time, space, object, attributes, functions, anything. Nama, Rupa, Karma, Guna, nothing is able to limit me as a small little entity. This is what is said. And now, sir, how can I be infinite? How can I be that he is untouched by time and space, by attributes and functions? How can I be that? Therefore, there is a doubt. And since there is a doubt, the doubt is resolved through what? Through vichara. The doubt will be resolved through vichara. Vichara means over here the process of verification. The process of verification. This process of verification is what we call as contemplation. Contemplation is not simply holding on to one thought. Holding on to one thought can be called as dhyanam. But we are talking about mananam. Pratyaya ekatanata is dhyanam. I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am. Now, if you hold on to that, it can become a process of meditation. But it is not the process of verification. So when we say contemplation, mananam, this is what is meant. Not holding on to some one thought and then, trying to retain that thought is called as contemplation. No, sir. It is in one direction, but it is process of verification. And this is what is said in the first instruction of the third verse. Okay, so therefore, beginning from first instruction of the first verse to the end of the last instruction of the second verse, when this is properly done, now this comes naturally. Process of verification. How can this Atma be? Because there is a doubt. What is this doubt? Let us see it a little bit and then go ahead. Nanu vakyasya yoyam arthaha tatvamasi iti evam rupaha sa na sambhavati. What is the vakya? Vakya means, now you understand, sentence or a statement. That statement is tatvamasi, that thou art. That means that Brahman you are. That Brahman you are. What is this Brahman? That in which the entire world of all names and forms comes to exist, exists, and then goes back into its own cause. That cause is Brahman. Janmadyasya yataha. What is Brahman? Janmadyasya yataha. This is the second Brahma Sutra. That Brahma is asya. Asya means asya jagataha. When you say this, what is this? Which is immediate. What is immediate? The whole world. To the seer, what is immediate? That whatever is seen. So what is seen? Seen in the sense known. Whether it is known through the ears, eyes, whichever faculty does not matter. Drishyam, whatever is in the category of Drishyam, the scene, the world. Asya, now the word Asya. Janmadi Asya. Asya means what? Asya Jagataha. Of this world. Janmadi. Janma means of its birth. Then sthiti, its existence, and its laya, its destruction, because everything, the whole world is subject to coming into existence. It exists and it gets destroyed, whatever it may be. The whole world, everything. So the whole world comes, stays, and gets destroyed. that from which it has come, that in which the whole world remains, and that to which it goes back is Brahman. Which means Brahma is not something, another object in this world, like people are trying to prove. God is in the world. Maybe not your world, another world, but still is a part of the world. If it's the part of the world, God is also subject to the same laws of the world, because everything that is a part of the world is subject to the laws of being born and getting destroyed. If this is your God, then your God is destructible. Therefore, those who are busy allocating a place for God, God exists, we cannot see him, but we will see him after we die and all that. They have allocated a place for him somewhere. Not in this, on this earth, somewhere else. Right? So is an object in the space, and by that virtue will also. So we are not saying this is what Brahman is. What are we saying? The whole world of all names and forms, time and space exists in that, is born in that, it exists in that, and it goes back to that, and that is what is Brahman. Okay? And Upanishad is saying that Brahman you are. Now this is what we have to verify. So basically we are going to see what the doubt is. Why is this not acceptable? And then after we will resolve that doubt. And this process of resolving the doubts is then called as what? Vakyarthascha vicharatam. This vichara is mananam. Because knowledge, when is polluted with doubts and contradictions, does not work as knowledge which will destroy the ignorance. So that though it is knowledge, but that knowledge is prohibited, is stopped, is prevented from destroying ignorance. Therefore, it is necessary to remove the doubts. So having heard and come to the conclusive understanding of Vedanta, now what to do? Mananam. For what? To remove the doubts. And in order to remove the viparyaya, there is nididhyasana. So to remove the viparyaya, to remove this, this asambhavana, which is in form of this samshaya, we have mananam. So samshaya viparyaya rahitam jnanam now is powerful, goes to remove the ignorance. Well, and in destruction of ignorance, what is there? Moksha is accomplished, done. Okay, so let us see this a little more when we meet tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutramashikatau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om